body bags where horror lies.
Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer. And this evening's movie is one by Robert Martin Carroll. And it's 1989's Sonny Boy. Sonny Boy, depending on how you pronounce that. Okay. This is a very, very, very good, excuse me, underrated gem of a movie, I think. It's odd, it's freaky. You feel so much for the character of Sonny Boy. It's like you have sadness, you follow his despair, you follow his moments of joy. There's moments of tenderness throughout this movie, next to kind of like, well, brutality. It's not overly graphic what you see, but the representation of what has gone on, and like, you know what Sonny has gone through. It's a heavy movie. So we have I have to check on the screen. Like, we have David Carradine as Pearl. So we have, it's not really kind of gone into in this movie so much, but he's dressed as a woman and he identifies as a woman, but we don't really get any details with that anyway. But he's in some sort of relationship with Slew, which is this Paul L. Smith, who is kind of like, he owns this town. It's kind of like out in the desert kind of thing, and he owns this small, I can't remember exactly where it is actually. He owns this kind of like small town, unofficial own, but like he owns the police and stuff like that. And you have Brad Dourif, who's like one of his this guy who does everything for him, is Weasel. And you have Sidney Lassick in here. He's like this Charlie character who's a kind of little bit like a Weasel one. Like about Brad Dourif character, a little bit like that, and he kind of comes in a little bit later in the movie. So the casting is really good. We have Conrad Janis as well as the doctor, who's kind of, everyone in town falls in line with Slew, and he's like, he just doesn't give a shit. He's like, oh, but he kind of, normally when people step out of line, stuff happens to them, but he's kind of allowed to continue. But anyway, it's Weasel, so Brad Dourif, he kind of, in this hotel, this motel, he does a robbery, he kills this couple, takes the car back to Slew, who has this kind of like where he lives out in the middle of nowhere, and he's just got shit everywhere. Basically, yeah, he just steals and robs and sells to make money and stuff like that. So he's stolen his car, he's got this TV and stuff like that. Then he's pissed because it's black and white. He's like, what good's a black and white TV? Yeah, it's pretty cool. And there's a baby in the car, so screwed up big time there. But it's one where Pearl, so David Carradine, wants the baby, and he's like caring for this baby. And Slew just doesn't want anything to do with it. He's like, got to get rid of it. Got to get rid of it, Pearl. And eventually goes to get rid of it. He kind of bonds with it and takes it. But it's not like he's having him for a son. No, this is the weird thing. He's creating this creature, if you want. It's not a creature, it's a person, but he's creating this person that will do exactly what he wants, exactly when he wants. And he kind of cages him and treats him like an animal. Like, he's always in a box, and he's like training him. He's like, he cuts his tongue out and stuff like this, and he's kind of dragging him along in the car, like training him for strength and stuff like that, and sets his fire around him so his skin gets hardened, and just pure brutalness. But then there's like moments of tenderness from Pearl where she's showing him love, and she's holding him, and she's like giving him food and stuff like that. So she's the one that kind of keeps him from being just this not like a machine, because he's not like that. Like when we get to finally meet him when he's in his young adult life, like maybe 20 or 18 or something like that, you can see he's so fragile. Like he does these tasks, like Slew takes him to these like different houses, like the mayor is kind of like starting to kick up a fuss, and so he's like, right, I'm gonna get rid of the mayor. So he uses Sonny Boy as like this killer, so he lets him in the house, and he just he basically kills the mayor. And throughout this you have like this you have Sonny Boy himself, and he's like kind of narrating bits that are going on, and so he's narrating it as Sonny Boy, and it's really cool. It's like Sonny Boy in years down the line, like when he's older, but it's really interesting how it's all put together. And this is a very complex character, not one that can talk, but the emotions portrayed. It's a Michael Boston who actually played Sonny Boy. Yeah, the emotions portrayed on portrayed. Sorry, not betrayed. Very well done, because you can. He's like has this. It's not rage. It's like an anger, but it's not an anger. It's almost like a defense when things happen. Like he's having a play fight with like Weasel, Brad Dourif's character, and he bites his thumb off, and it's like it's just how he knows what to do. And Weasel's like really is like loving this. It's like, dude, you just lost your thumb. But it's kind of like, it is kind of like a character study of this Sonny Boy. But all the characters in this movie are just so interesting and so good. And Slew and Pearl, their characters, which I just wish they'd gone into even more, because they're so interesting. And even like Weasel and Charlie, it's like they're like kind of just shits, but they have these because I think the actors that they are, they have this likable presence, and it's just really interesting. And like there's this kind of, his love interest comes in. She kind of finds him at one point. He's locked in this ice cream truck that Slew's driving around, because he's going to use him as a weapon again. And then she keeps coming in and out of the movie, and this is where it's kind of that has that strangeness. He's not, like I said, he's not this killing machine, because he's had this. He doesn't know what he is, and he doesn't know how to express. He doesn't know how to interact with people. He only knows Weasel, Charlie, and his mom and dad, which is Slew and Pearl. He only knows these, and his upbringing has been like an animal. So you can see there's not a huge development in his character on how he changes, but you can see like he starts to find his place, small bits, and it kind of gets really sad, because like the townsfolk find out what he is and where he is and that, and like what's been happening, kind of, and they're trying to hunt him down. And it's like the townspeople turning on Slew and Pearl, even like they're like Slew's being the boss of the town, and then they turn on him, and we get this kind of like this mob, and they kind of like go and try and they want to kill them all. So there's this big standoff fight at the end, and it's really heartening. Like all these bits, it's really sad, but when you get these moments of happiness like dotted around, it's like it's very well made, that you kind of, well, I was kind of invested in these characters and like what happened to them. And even at the end there's this like kind of, it's a bit there's an operation where they're sticking your tongue on him, and you can say no and stuff like that. So you can see this, it's the start of what will be a slow process of him coming into the real world, because the doc's looking after him, and he has this girlfriend, maybe this kind of, she's in love with him sort of thing. He doesn't really know what love is, but he kind of finishes there. And like I say, you kind of do know like he knows bits, because you can hear him later on through the narration, so you know this is him later, because it's not like it's just the character talking about him. He's in character talking about himself. And this was just one I'd seen like this, the Scream Factory. I wish I'd picked up because that goes for quite a lot now. But there's like a German media book or something like this that I will pick up because this was actually a first time watch, and I really, really enjoyed this movie. I highly recommend like watching it if you can pick it up. Highly recommend it. It's a kind of a unique watch. It's really, really well done. Fantastic characters in this, and really interesting characters make for such an unusual movie. But anyway, that's the end of my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.